This video is sponsored by Squarespace. With the release of the R5 II, the R1, even the Z6 III a couple months ago or last month, what the hell is going on with camera innovation nowadays? So thanks to Alex for a comment that he left on my R5 II video. This is a topic that I want to touch on a little bit. Alex says, no one will ever tell the truth about Canon, but if you've been doing this for years, you know that this camera is just a bunch of borrowed features from other models put together to silence people who have been asking for a Mark II. Zero original innovations to the R5 itself. Needing a specific battery for 8K in 2024 is embarrassing. I thought it was common knowledge that it's not just Canon, and it's not about telling the truth. I think that we all can see what's going on with the camera industry in general. The stagnation of innovation has been going on for many years now, 5 to 7 years of trickle down specs or features into cameras. So I think that the release of the R5 II sparked this conversation just a little bit because people seem to be underwhelmed by the improvement. Well, look at the Z6 III that was released last month. People were raving about it, including myself. And it wasn't that the Z6 III being the new standard at $2,500 with the beefiest specs out of any camera, it wasn't that the Z6 III had any innovation. It was that the Z6 III had something to improve upon. The Z6 II there was a lot to be desired on the Z6 II. The Z6 III now has taken a lot of borrowed specs and features from the bigger, higher tier cameras. And now you're jam packing that into a $2,500 camera. If Sony wanted to top the Z6 III or any camera brand wanted to top that, all they would have to do is the same thing. They don't have to innovate. They just have to grab a bunch of different things from the higher tier cameras, pack it all into that, and one up the Z6 III. And with the R5 II, I think what has happened here is because the R5 was already such a good camera, and still such a good camera till this day, released 4 years ago, it is hard to improve upon an already such great camera, great all-around camera. So what you're seeing with the R5 II is a refinement of features and a lot of tweaking, a lot of improving certain weaknesses of the R5, but you're getting an overall better package. Yes, zero innovation, but this has been the thing for how many years now? And I've been saying this in a lot of my videos. If you've watched my videos, we're going to reach a point where it's more about user experience than anything else. And I think that we're almost there with the stagnation of innovation in cameras, right? And I think that it's going to continue. This wave is going to continue until the next groundbreaking innovation happens. And I think that Sony already started on that with the global shutter that's in the A9 III. There's still a lot of work that needs to be put into that, but I think that is the start of the future. Look at the industry as a whole for the past 5 years, right? It just seems like it's reached a level of maturity. Cameras are getting incremental improvements with a lot of trickle-down tech, and most of the innovation is happening on, it depends what you call innovation. It's happening more on the video side of things, but it's technically not innovation. Let's think about it. For photographers like myself, there hasn't been much innovation going on, right? So there was the megapixel race, right? The race to have the highest resolution sensor with the best image quality, and that has stagnated for about 10 years. I say 10 years because this is the original A7R1 announced about a decade ago. I compared it to the modern Sony A1. It's a 36 megapixel sensor, and I feel like it can hold up to almost any other sensor nowadays. Sure, there are improvements, yes, but not by much. There isn't anything like that just, super noticeable. If anything, image quality is slightly regressing in some ways in direct consequence to creating faster readout speed sensors. Autofocus innovation. It peaked around maybe like 5 to 7 years ago when we started to introduce things like subject tracking. It keeps slowly improving with these AI chips that they're putting in the cameras, but it's still incremental at this point. For video, the 4K race began again around a decade ago with the GH4 and the original A7S. The 8K race began around 5 years ago with the original Canon R5 when it got the 8K 60 RAW internal recording. It was a big deal at the time. And now you see 8K video in many of the cameras, and even internal raw recording in cameras like the Z6 III, that's $2,500, right? For flash photographers like myself, flash sync speeds have not really improved. The Sony A1 has a 1/400 sync speed. I wish other companies would follow suit on that. You know, the A9 III does have an unlimited flash sync speed, but it does come with some drawbacks, and it kind of in tandem with there not being a lot of innovation in the lighting world as well. Still, this is why I believe that global shutter sensors are going to be the wave for future of cameras and innovation. Now, what are we getting today? We're getting a lot of ergonomic improvements, right? Cameras are getting smaller and lighter. Lenses are getting smaller and lighter. We're seeing more niche focal lengths out there. Zoom with prime lens apertures. We're getting higher end features that are trickling into cheaper cameras. AI chips are helping with faster processing and creating algorithms, making these cameras more idiot proof. I mean, you know, mirrorless cameras are practically fusing into cinema cameras because they're borrowing so many of their features. Now, before you know it, we're going to have things like 32-bit float internal recording, internal NDs, internal SSDs like my Hasselblad, better, more powerful AI computational tricks, better low light capabilities, increased dynamic range maybe in some of the cameras moving forward. Maybe they'll give us some safety features to help prevent theft or even discourage theft, because this is becoming, unfortunately, a common thing in the camera space. But as of right now, innovation has stagnated. Image quality has stagnated for everyone. I think cameras are going to continue to receive trickle-down tech for at least a couple more years until something revolutionary happens. But I don't know. These are my thoughts. I would love to know what you think. All right, I want to jump in here really quickly and tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace makes it so easy and seamless to set up a website for your business, whether that's an online store, a blog, or a personal site like mine. Squarespace has this thing called Blueprint AI that gives you unique design and styling options to best align with your brand. A feature that can give your site some personality. I'm currently tinkering with it right now because I plan on doing an entire redesign pretty soon. It's also been effortless to manage my online store, selling my presets, and even more recently, I've been building out an appointments feature that will allow my viewers and site visitors to schedule a mentorship call with me in just a few quick steps. So if you use the coupon code Manny, you will get 10% off your first purchase with Squarespace. So check them out. Link will be in the description. But to answer your question, buddy, this is happening to all the cameras coming out, and it's going to continue to happen. So it's not just Canon, it's Nikon, it's Sony. Everyone is doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cameras are getting cheaper. Switching camera brands is going to be more and more pointless as we move forward. Remember when everyone was talking about color science, and now no one cares? No one talks about that anymore. They're just talking about all these features that have spoiled us. And at the end of the day, we can get a shot. I can get the same shot with any one of these cameras. You know, any one of these cameras. I mean, yeah, I'm going to just end it here. I'll say some more thoughts for another video.